Hello, you are listening to the OmniTalk Fast 5, brought to you in partnership with the A&M Consumer and Retail Group, Firework, Trigo, Sezzle, and Silk. All right, that's right, Chris. Coming off of the closure of Amazon Fresh in Dalston that we covered on last week's show, Amazon has called our bluff and turned around and opened 2 new Amazon Fresh stores in London last week. So reports from our on-the-ground friend of OmniTalk, Ben Miller. Man, that guy kills it.
Yeah, he does. He does a great job.
Ben Miller of Shop Talk. Check out his post on LinkedIn if you haven't. What he noted is that these new Amazon Fresh stores are different. Very different,
Very different.
Chris. For example, shoppers no longer have to scan anything to enter the store. They simply shop and then have 3 options for checkout. They can scan a QR code in the Amazon app and have a receipt emailed to them. They can tap their credit card.
Yep.
Or, finally, and this is, I think, the most remarkable thing about this, they can pay the traditional way at one of 2 manned tills in the store. There's also a lane for shoppers who have not yet purchased products to leave the store, making it easier for shoppers like those who use the online pickup and returns counter to get in and out. So, Chris,
Yes.
I want to know what your thoughts are on this one.
Yeah, shout out to Ben for using the word tills too. I gotta give him some British humor for that one, but not really British humor because that's what they call it over there.
And
But
it's
you know,
in London.
yeah, right.
I
know.
think you're the
But,
odd man out.
I know, right? I'm the odd man out. But anyway, my thing on this is a big whoa. This is a big story. For one, Amazon doesn't look like it's going away from grocery at all.
Right.
They opened up 2 new stores, and here's the other important point to this story that came out this week after this was unveiled. They just hired 2 heavyweights, Claire Peters of Woolworths and Peter Bowery of Boots UK, to join their Amazon Fresh leadership team. So if they were slowing down Amazon Fresh, I don't think you'd be seeing those types of heavyweights sign on publicly with them in that way. So it's an important point to note.
Yeah.
The other thing that's really interesting is the store design. Amazon is going away from pre-authorization. That's crazy, right? That is really interesting. It's very telling. It possibly shows there could be a usage problem, with the scan being a barrier to adoption and trying the store.
Sure.
And so, that gives credence also to the fact of what we've seen from the likes of Trigo and Gerbango and others who've had on the podcast over the years about this hybrid approach, which as we're seeing it, that might be the trick to get the customer adoption that you need. The one thing I have a question about, though, Ann, is actually the exit lane for people that are just shopping to come in for pickup orders, because I think that's going to be lead to massive amounts of theft, and I think that's going to be hard to control. So I don't think they've figured out the silver bullet on this, but it's cool, typical Amazon, to see them experimenting their way to the next iteration of what this could look like.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that, again, one thing that I mentioned in the intro, we were highly doubtful because Amazon threw the old, we'll be opening 2 stores.
Right.
And the next day they announced the opening of these stores.
That's smart.
And I think that there's a lot of things that this could lead to. I mean, I think we immediately speculate something's wrong with the tech. It wasn't working, or there's issues with, how people, what adoption looked like and those things. I also think, and Ben pointed out in his post, maybe this location wasn't right. Maybe the assortment wasn't right. I mean, there's also other components of this that I think could be involved, including what the technology was. But again, I think for me, what's important or more important is what are the other retailers doing in this space that are not Amazon? Because yes, Amazon is important to watch. What they're doing and how they're changing things are important, but they always have tests going on. But what are you going to see happen with the likes of Tesco and Trigo, Aldi and Trigo and Aldi and AFI and some of the other stores? How are those retailers adapting to what consumers are telling them about this experience?
Yeah, I had a similar thought process to you here, real quick, before I move on to the next headline too, is what does this mean for the convenience store play? Because you and I have been to those stores in the airport, and we have watched people think they're going to go in and then turn around because they're like, you know what, I'm out. I don't want to do this.
Yep.
And so it makes me think that there's still a customer acquisition issue or a customer adoption issue with those stores. So I'm curious to see what the Quick Trips are saying about the licensing of Amazon's technology, the Hudson News. Do they continue to do it? Because this format design does not adapt as easily to those environments.
Right. And I think that that's also a little bit different too, especially in the airport instance. I think Quick Trip will be a better tell because the airport instance, you have 5 other options around you too. It's not, just going to one Quick Trip that the next one is 5 miles away. It's you can go to this Hudson News or the one across the way. So lots to come in the space, but I think really big news out of Amazon.
The post-purchase authorization is tough in those environments, though.